Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Justin Egliskis. This channel prioritizes health, financials, self-care, everything that's going to benefit you. So today I really wanted to hit on self-care. It hurts me to see so many human beings who just lost themselves and haven't managed their lives. First of all, I think we're all equal. Every single being, we're all made and fueled by the same spirit, energy, whatever you may call it. And it's important for me as a person, as I grow and learn and become smarter, I want to help other people. It's what brings me fulfillment. So to speak on what has changed my life, I think that's the way to go. There's so many different aspects to taking care of yourself. We're talking physical, mental, financially, your relationships. So many different things will correlate to bring you to the happiest state possible. So let's talk about physically first. Now we go into diet, exercise, and your intake. When I talk about diet, the first thing that really made an impact on me being able to really actualize the changes that I wanted to do was reading nutritional labels. If you're not reading those labels, you're going to get tempted by the fantastic marketing that all these companies do. They make the boxes, the advertisements, everything looks so good. And even things like Oreos, they taste amazing, but they're just bioengineered and full of chemicals. It's sad once I realized how much of the food that I enjoyed, liked, it's all just fake bullshit. So reading nutritional labels was like that first step, that little momentum. You're priming your lawnmower by looking at those nutritional labels. You're priming yourself for success by understanding all the chemicals, the added sugars. I'm not talking normal sugars. Normal sugars that will show up on the total sugars on the nutritional label, that's good stuff. But if it has any added sugars, no good. That's what you want to stay away from. And I really enjoy talking about diet because that is what really determines how you feel, or at least one piece of how you feel. But for example, if I wake up and I have some Oreos, some cereal, all processed grains, and maybe some seed oils, just nothing substantially natural like some grass-finished beef or maybe some bananas and fruit or honey. If you're eating mostly processed foods, you're not going to feel too good. But it's hard to notice this if you're used to feeling not good. So what you have to do, or at least what helped me, was experimenting with new things and literally just trial and error. Figure out what makes you feel good, what upsets your stomach, what keeps you motivated, what gives you good energy. It's like that's what I use to grow and become smarter and healthier. It's just the test, trial and error. So if anything I say benefits you, my whole passion and drive is to help other people. I will never charge you for anything. I will never run ads. None of that bullshit. I'm not here for the money. I do other things for money. What I want from this channel is just to share wisdom and help you guys. So with that being said, if I benefit you at all, just show me some love, give me some feedback, constructive criticism, drop me a like, and I'd love to talk to some of you guys. So we talk about the nutritional labels. You look for those added sugars. I'm not too big of a skeptic on saturated fat and fats. If you're getting fat from some grass-finished beef or, any healthy, no soy, no corn-fed chicken, that's what I would want to stay away from. But if you're getting most of your protein and fats from grass-finished bison, lamb, beef, that will be spectacular. It's going to provide good nutritional benefits for you. Overall, just try to make it a habit. When you think you may be picking up something that it's not too good for you, read the nutritional label, and that might be that extra push, the extra motivation for you to put that thing down and choose your gut health, your mind, and your body first. So a few staples. You read that nutritional label, stay away from added sugars, stay away from seed oils, sunflower oil, palm oil, any oil really except for the coconut oil. I know that's very good. And the avocado, as long as it isn't cut or diluted, avocado oil is very good as well. And really, it's about staying away from the catastrophic things. Like if you're having a bunch of sugar, processed foods, your basis of the diet is carbohydrates, you're not going to feel good, you're going to be bloated, your stomach is probably round and quite big. So you make a switch to the grass-finished beef, bison, lamb, and prioritize fruits and honey. Natural glucose is fabulous. I love sugar. It should be natural sugar, not some added sugar. If I'm speaking to anyone overweight or on their journey to health, listen, you don't have to do this all instantly, but what you do need is a good environment and a support system. So be sure that your family, the friends that you have, they have to support you. If they're not supporting you on your journey to a healthier life, they're not your real friends. And that might be a hard dose of reality. But I'm here for you. So just one day at a time, baby. Focus on reading those labels, avoiding sugars, and grass-finished beef, lamb, bison with some fruit, honey, like good stuff. I'm here for you. One day at a time. That's what works. So I think we hit the nail on the head with the diet. So now let's transfer into exercise. And if you're like me, you're not a professional athlete, but you do want to stay healthy, you do want to look good. So what I love to do is have a balance of exercises. Some boxing, and this is personal, boxing, weights, running, cycling, those are my core. But as I grow and you make some more money, I'd like to expand into some new things. Maybe mountain biking, snowboarding, skateboarding. Just test yourself. Just like with the food, you don't want to stay in a comfort zone. I very much encourage you to stretch your limits and grow. Put yourself in some uncomfortable times, whether it's a hard run, some cold temperatures, or very hot temperatures. Freaking test yourself, because what you'll find out is your body adapts and you become mentally, physically just stronger. And a little bit of a rhythm, maybe 2 days, 2 days on, 1 day off. That's what I enjoy to do. So we'll give you an example. 1 day weights, 1 day boxing, then 1 day you just walk the dogs and take it easy. That's what works for me. And as we're on this topic, it is a sensitive topic. So what I say, and a principle for almost everything in life, you do what works for you. And all I hope is that some of my information and wisdom can be of use. I do not at all expect someone to take a picture carbon copy of everything I do and become just the same person as me or get the same body. It doesn't work like that. But what I want to preach about is the principles, the ideas. Read the labels, wake up early, avoid sugar, focus on water. All those simple things, they compound over time. Compounding is the seventh wonder of the world. You let that thing snowball, it's going to work for you. Momentum. Get yourself going and things are going to become easier. Just trust me on this. But you can't do it all in one day. So focus on the small things, one thing, maybe one thing a week, one thing a day, depending on your circumstances. So I wanted to talk about exercising and nutrition in the same episode because they're closely linked. If you're slacking on one or the other, it will be evident. Let's say, for example, you have cereal and milk every day. So it's processed grains and dairy, which for me causes a lot of pimples. I don't like pimples, so I stay away from dairy. It might be the same for you. If you're able to cut out that cereal every morning, you can replace it with multiple things. Either you fast, that's what I love to do. I don't eat until maybe 4 p.m., but then I have an eating window from 4 to 9. It's like a 5-hour window that I eat almost all of my food in. And that is not something that you can just jump into. At first, I had to start fasting for shorter spans, like 3 hours. Then I moved up to 7 hours. Now I can do 14 hours. But it is amazing for letting your gut empty out and your digestive tract actually work, because often humans are just stacking that digestive tract with more and more food without letting it actually finish its action, which is not healthy for you or your internal systems. But maybe you're not the fasting type. Maybe it is just unappealing to you, so I'm not saying that that's the only route to go. You could instead warm up, start your day with a banana, maybe some honey. Something like that is much better than cereal and milk. And again, none of this is really advice. It's more so guidance of what worked for me, and I think that I'm not the most normal human being, but I am a human being, and a lot of us are human beings, so what works for me, I'm hoping might work for you. I think it's very important for you to notice what is affecting your mood. And that's why I love talking about exercise and diet and even what you're fueling your mind with, because this affects who you are at every moment, how you speak to other people, everything. If you're constantly listening to, for example, rap, where all they talk about is selling drugs, shooting guns, and killing people, that's going to become normalized to you, and you're going to start acting like that, which for a professional is quite unappealing. So pay attention to what foods you're eating and how that affects your mood. If you're eating something healthy and you start to feel good, you get a little energy boost. For example, when I have apples, oh my gosh, and they're fresh picked apples, that just gives me a nice boost. And it's so sweet and sugary, but it's natural sugar. It's not some fake added bullshit. So really focus on what works for you, but be aware and mindful of how the foods are affecting you. Like, if I have a bunch of dairy, I'm going to get pimples. I know that for a fact. I didn't know that forever, though. I learned it because I was paying attention to the amount of dairy I had, and in result, the next few days after having a extra, significant amount of dairy, I had way more pimples than normal. And now I don't have a lot of pimples. Wow. It's because I don't drink dairy all the time. That is just an example of what works for me and how I tested. And, you go through errors, trial and error, you learn. So we talked about nutrition and exercising. Lastly, I want to speak about what you listen to, what your mind is occupied with, and how that will affect you. So if you listen to negative things, people bickering, you're in an environment where no one respects each other, but they kind of gossip and treat everyone like no one is equal, that's going to be negative for your entire life. But if you're around an environment where people are kind, everyone is empathetic and cares, shows, guiding emotions, tries to help other people learn from mistakes rather than bashing them, you are going to be much happier, your self-esteem will grow, and naturally your environment will flourish. So this doesn't go for just environments, but what you're watching on the screens. If you're listening, watching just poor content, literally just brain-numbing content, you're not going to be learning and your brain will stay numb. Rather, if you're reading books and maybe diving into a hobby that you enjoy, whether it's art, working on cars, landscaping, painting, anything, pottery, if you're learning something that challenges you, helps you grow, you're going to grow, and I mean it. Like, this is just evident in life. The people who spend their time doing negative things and just not spending the time correctly, they don't flourish and they don't grow. But those who spend the time trying to learn and grow and focus on what can be improved, they are bound for success as long as you don't go astray. I just grabbed this amazing apple cider and it brought me a new idea. The news. when you're listening to something so negative and fear-mongering, you will, without a doubt, have fear installed into you. And I do not watch mainstream media because it is completely corrupt. The people who drive the media and own the media have no interest in your health. For example, if they did, when COVID came out, they would preach, if they cared about your health, the necessity to get vitamin D and sunlight early in your day. They would preach the importance of going to bed on time. They would preach the importance of staying away from fast food and processed food. Rather, they don't say anything like that. But if you do decide to get vaccinated, you can have free donuts, free pizza, and free beer, none of which is healthy for you. So that is just a blatant, just smack in the face from the media to our population, saying, I guess you guys are not smart enough to actually see through our agenda. The mainstream media is a joke. So pay attention to what makes you happy. Listening to podcasts, which often can be millionaires, billionaires, successful people who have crafted their skills like none other, and they are willing to share their experiences, the honesty, the failures, how they got to where they are today. Nothing on the mainstream media is anything comparable to that. YouTube is good, but there is so much censorship, and just pay attention to these things. Be aware, be mindful. I'll never charge you or run any advertisements. All I ask is if you learn, just show me some support and let me know maybe future ideas of what you would like to hear me talk about. But the goal is simple. I want to help people live happier, better lives by using the fundamental principles that help me escape depression.